Radiant team pick.
Nyx. And like right now, like if I see Snapfire, Nyx, Viper, and I have like these 3 non-team fighting heroes, like I don't know how I'm gonna recover from that.
Great Storm game. Like they have not a single stun. He can just jump over the shards. Like AA is pretty much the food for him. Same goes for Nyx Assassin. So their pick-off potential is off the charts in this game. I want to see some kind of silence, some kind of a stun, something that deals well with the Storm.
This means Viper's offlane though, right?
Yeah.
So they have a Tusker AA Morphling. I think they might look to try hero. Yeah. It looks really vulnerable. Like I don't think Nyx can really pull waves.
I like Dragonite as a response to Storm Spirit, but after they have Viper, not a big fan, so they're gonna save maybe the mid laner for the last. How do you like if it's a mid morph against the Storm Spirit?
I think Storm should outfarm him slightly, but Morph will be completely fine, and then Morph should have pressure on the tower. I think pressure on the tower, if you have a lineup with like sort of non-teaming supports, it means you have to play the map really fast because you can't take the same skirmish as you would in the mid game. So you want heroes that like when they see the enemy hero in lane, they'll kick him out and your creep wave will hit their tower.
They don't have that one hero that just goes in and jumps Snapfire, which I really don't like. Something from far away, maybe like maybe Mars, but Snapfire can outrange the Mars, and you have a good front line that can keep them busy. Also, it's Mars into Storm Spirit. He can easily just jump out.
I think like even though they pick Mars, I don't think they're looking to take like these straight teamfight engagements. They're gonna arena spear one guy. Maybe he'll get a Yule so he can be the catch for that Storm as you mentioned. But they have like this AALT and this Morphling long range nuke. You arena spear one guy, you burst him in, and you try to reset the fight. You have a lot of like the Tusker reset. Morphling has wait for him to reset. You can just use arena as like a way to trade out your spells. I think that is correct for like what heroes Gambit has, because Gambit, like, they have this Nyx Assassin, Viper, and Snapfire. Like, they have a lot of nukes. They're really strong team fights, but they're actually not that mobile. Storm is, but if he's the one you catch, then you can always reset the fight and get another round of spells.
Yeah, Viper's pretty sluggish. I want to see what his item build is going to be this time around. Maybe.
I haven't seen it offlane much. Do they play it a lot in Europe? No,
not really.
Okay.
He's been banned out most of the time in the region that I've been watching. When there's like Spectre, when there's a Bristleback, so Southeast Asia loves Bristle, so was banned out most of the time.
That hero's straight first pick in NA. For a lot of teams. He's super scary, but they usually play him mid. That's why I'm sort of curious. Like, in my head, like, you would pick the carry instead of Storm there, right? So you could, like, sort of hide where the Viper's going. Like, right now, I think it's sort of easy for Nigma to decide how to shut down Viper.
Like a PL for Gambit, because they have no real AoE. Morphling does not like to play into mana burn. Supports are just the food for him.
They have the 24 pick, right?
Yeah.
So I think you will. I can see PL working for sure. That sounds pretty good. I think you do want to see that last hero though, especially like for a hero like PL. I was talking to BSJ and he said like PL is like pretty much the last pick or nothing right now. He's like the hero's not good, but he can still be picked if you have the perfect matchups.
Sure, but I think you can get away with that. Doesn't necessarily need to be last pick, at least from what I've seen. What is that ban, Rich? Let's help us out.
I do want to say really quickly here, 95%. You can see right now that guess the winners. That is a Twitch chat vote. 95%.
Twitch chat, they love Nigma.
They didn't even wait to see what happened in the draft. Already 95% of them on the side of Nigma. But I will say to everybody in chat, if you've only been paying attention to one of the streams, if you've only been watching Dire, if you've only been watching Radiant, you might have not seen what Gambit.
Rich, you got to contribute something to this draft. Like, you need to tell me what hero is banned.
I was in the middle of contributing to the draft. I can't see that far away to see the heroes that are drafted. I know what you're trying to do.
It's much easier when it's color. It's not black and white.
It's just that the picks are easy. It's those how tiny the bands actually are here. I can see that that's a jug at the end here, but what do you want to see to round out the draft, Lacoste?
For Nigma? Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
I think they need a mid laner. I think it's okay to have Morph against Viper. You mentioned the aggressive tri-lane possibility, something that comes to my mind every single time I see Tusk, one of the best heroes. It's going to be mid Morph, actually.
Okay, so running that back again after what we saw in game one, and now it's going to come down to Gambit. What are you looking out for here?
I mean, I think they picked Lifesteal, right?
10 seconds remaining.
I've had this matchup in my pubs a few times where like Viper goes against Leicester, and that matchup's actually really hard for Leicester, but he can remove the poison stacks, and I think Nigma's one of the best team at rotating their 4, like to mid and safe lane, so we won't see like an early trialing come in for Nagasar.
It's pretty much the same concept as a PL where you have the Fusil Blade carrier, something that they don't have the answer to. They had the last pick, not enough wave clear. They like these heroes don't deal well with the illusions. Lifestealer, Radiance build not a thing anymore. I like this Naga. I really like.
No wave shove on Radiant at all.
Yeah, like you have AA Tusk, they really struggle. Like Mars can, Lifestealer needs to sit there and actually hit the creeps.
It's actually very good versus Mars in lane. Like, he has to constantly throw a spear and just split your illusions, and you can win that lane with Nagasiren.
I like Gambit's ref. I really like what they got.
Okay, so we hear Lacoste right now in favor of Gambit's draft. AUI, how about you?
I also, I mean, the one thing that Gambit's lacking is, like, I think it's a bit unclear who goes in first. They have Nyx to sort of frontline for them, so that's good. But I also like Gambit's draft. I think Dream plays a really good Nagasiren, actually. And yeah, I'm curious to see what happens in this game.
How do you feel the tide of this game is actually going to play out, though? What are the big moments that you're looking for as we actually do get into the game?
I think most of this game's going to be on GH, because this game's going to be on how Tusker rotates. Like, if he can make Leicester have a really good game, like, he's unkillable this game until Storm Orchid, pretty much. If they can do that and, like, just hold their safe lane control, then, you know, Nigma has a map to play. If that doesn't happen, I think Gambit should be able to, like, control the entire map and just hold farm them.
Gotta agree. I'm pleasantly surprised the way Gambit drafted. They utilized the last pick, and I don't think they have the answer for this Nagasiren.
All right, well, I love what you said to start off the panel, just the idea of Gambit right now. Are they rising to the occasion after having an extra pressure thrown onto the players from the players themselves? We're going to find out very quickly here if they're going to be able to grab another upset as we jump into the second best of 2 of the day.
น่าสิเป็นเกมที่ดีเป็นเกมที่ดี
And here we are, Gambit up against Nigma. It seems like Nigma trying to replicate some of their victory against Vici Gaming with this Mars, this Ancient Apparition, but the panel, and I know you were saying that you really like Gambit's draft and the way they can play the map.
Yeah, as long as they don't get smashed early, I think that they have really good ways to just keep the map, like, keep themselves hidden in particular, especially the Nagasiren. I think Dream, when he's playing with this team, he excels when he's actually not being forced to do too much. When I've seen him actually, because I watched a lot of these Europe and CIS games, when he's actually forced to get involved, he starts making these mistakes because it doesn't feel like he wants to be in these. I think Nagasiren actually fits perfectly the style that he likes to play.
So he won't get flustered, he'll just farm and build himself up.
And actually, yeah, I mean, Aoi kind of took it right away from me, but I think it's eyes on GH this game to solidify and secure these lanes, because you look, and it's a Tusk Mars lane if he does want to play around mind control, which is, it's going to be a little bit hard for him to really do much of anything to actually play aggressive. So I want to see him play with the tri-lane and just look at the rotations. A lot of times the way that GH has been playing, especially with Miracle now playing the mid for them, he rotates mid like 4 minutes. I guarantee you we see a TP. 4 or 5 minutes, GH is going to run mid, he's going to TP mid, he's going to try to make an aggressive play on the mid laner. And especially versus a hero like Storm, he could actually catch him off guard early on where he doesn't have that level 6. You can actually look to set up a gank there. So eyes on GH really for this game, and see if he does early go for tri-lanes, and if he does go for like pulling creep waves, because I think that's going to be the style, at least in the bottom lane.
For sure going to be a pivotal hero for them. And then kind of a similar thing here for the next Assassin as well, right? He's going to be scouting out any movements that Nigma want to make, because it is a very team fight focused draft around that Mars AA, looking for those early engagements. And we know Immersion, how well he can do behind enemy lines, kind of catching stragglers or smoke ganks there as an early range from RLTW. Get rid of some of that damage coming through from Afterlife, but they've shoved this wave really hard already under tier 1.
Yeah, this is the Afterlife special. He loves playing the Viper. He always does it. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. He always does Vipers, but this is a very comfortable hero for him, so he forces the wave in, and then they just start messing with the pulls. You see the wards already coming out from both sides, so yeah, they've got it covered, and we're already seeing the pull. GH is starting to pull because he doesn't want to be this double melee versus Nagasiren, so he's going to start switching where the positioning of the lane is.
Yeah, start manipulating that creep wave. And then mid lane there, we've got Romanov up against Miracle. Storm versus Morphling, which the panel was saying, you know, Storm Spirit can potentially slightly outfarm the Miracle Morph, but then you've got the threat of that damage onto towers and the runes that Miracle can utilize to shove back into the wave. But for the most part, you know, these mid lanes with water runes now very much just farm trade heavy.
Yeah, I actually love seeing like the aggressive Storms, and Lorinov, from what I've seen so far, very aggressive player, so he tends to just always get Electric Vortex level 3. So he's going to be able to try to bring it to the Morphling if he sees an opportunity, just pulling them to even make him miss range creeps and stuff like that. It's really high skill kind of matchup that you can take advantage of, so yeah, eyes on Lorinov to bully Miracle a little bit here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking down those side lanes, yeah, BZZ. Just trying to track back onto GH, like you were mentioning. Dragging these waves around, making things a little easier for himself. Has Emergent already starting his nonsense, kills off RTW's Courier with the boots on them.
Yeah, you see, Kuro has actually started boots on the AA, something you don't see too often because he just has to run. Yeah, ILTW is forced to actually rage and run away. This is a very tough lane right now for Team Nigma.
Yeah, we start to see the CS from the Radiant team getting ahead of their counterparts for the most part. I mean, Naga Siren, maybe consider her to be struggling a little bit, but that's more of an experience-focused hero. Early days, CS will come naturally as the game progresses into 10, 15 minutes. She'll be given all that room to farm. So early laning stage, you feel like Naga Siren, it's not really important for her to have a good time down here, is it? Just dodge any kind of aggression from Nigma.
Yeah, they're manipulating creeps so much, right? GH, that's the whole job, is these 4 positions when you're double melee in this matchup, so you're going to miss a couple, because he's going to get the pull behind, he's going to deny like 2-3 extra CS, so that's what Dream is actually missing here. And Mars is one of the better actual lane heroes, and boom!
Viper next, straight onto RTW, they're tipping him as well.
Oh boy,
here we go.
Well, they know that if they get ahead in this game, this Lifestealer is going to have like no recovery period at all. He's in a very tough carry matchup versus Nagasart, and he's versus Viper in the game. Like your whole game is going to be pretty terrible unless you get right on top of him to start off with like an infest bomb. Otherwise, you're just Viper striked. Every single team fight, you're going to be Viper striked. So.
Yeah, and you got stuck there.
Yeah.
Right, something we didn't get a chance to touch on much, but Lifestealer item builds. We've previously seen the Radiance, the Battle Fury. They're all come and gone. Nowadays, are we expecting this armlet with a Deso? What Halberd? What are we looking for RTW this game? Because he needs tempo, doesn't he?
Oh god, I mean you need to go armlet 100%, but there is a consideration. You just have to go Maelstrom this game. You're playing versus Nagasar, and you need to be able to match core to core matchup at some point in the game, but might not work so well with their draft. So we'll see. I think maybe he ends up becoming more of this like utility Lifestealer kind of in a way for the Morphling to become the super carry. But yeah, already starting to fall pretty decently far behind inside laning start. And GH, he is starting to check, as we said, 4 minutes. GH has to check the runes, has to help out Miracle a bit there because he's falling behind. So Lorinov will not get a refill on one of these water runes.
Lots of tips coming out. Kuro having a bit of a battle with Emergent. Bottom lane though, mind control. He's all right. Mars slips away from the Naga, and that snap fire down bot.
Jump the cookie. I think if the cookie actually lands on him, he might die. Yeah, they cooked an illusion, landed right behind him. He did the step forward to dodge it. It was a nice play from mind control.
Well done by him. And GH, I mean, he's not going to accomplish much here.
No, he can't.
And he's just wandering around, and this is what we're saying, during that draft, we love to see this Tusk with the Lash Rank, the DP, the ranged heroes that utilize the tag team. Of course, they wanted this mind control Mars to set up team fights in that kind of period where the laning phase breaks down.
I'm a bit surprised that he didn't actually try doing like the first pull wave, you hit level 2 on Tusk, and then you TP to the safe lane and you just get a kill. Because Viper, very immobile hero, but if they start getting an advantage top, they're going to chain kill. And watch this.
Got the AA. Stuck out there. Emergent gets a stun into the Nether Toxin. And another one comes through for Afterlife. And is that earn charges for the Viper as well already?
Yep. I think you have to, honestly, I think you have to bring GH up here, or a +1 in order to try to set up to get ILTW to get a kill onto this slower hero like a Viper. 320 movement speed, if you get 3 heroes hitting him with tag team, he is gonna die, but so far unable to get the foot. Get their foot off, and Lorinov, he's going back to base, but he's level 6 already on Storm, so they can't actually set up for him anymore, where we might have seen a rotation if they did it earlier.
What do you think the goal is for Storm now at level 6? Is it sort of hide in jungle, play fog and farm, or do you want to see him TP rotate to get kills?
I don't think he needs to rotate with the way that the lanes are going, right? I think this is a game where he can play his Greed, go for his Orchid, and then he's the counter to the Morphling completely inside of the game. So I think Lorinov can just play the mid lane, play the farm. If he sees a rotation like being forced, if they're diving too far into the other lane,
he'll go for it.
Sure, he can TP, but I think he should just play his own game, maximize as much as possible.
Next, definitely. So Ancient Apparition is food for the Storm Spirit, and here's the move that you've been wanting for quite a while.
They need this.
GH, he's TP top, but Afterlife has already managed to dip away from any aggression Nigma was bringing. And now Tusk is TP top there. Mind control's isolated down bottom.
They're going to try to get an aggro play onto him. Huge creep wave going under too. They're trying to connect, pull it.
Oh, they get a bit in a catapult as well.
They get a little bit.
The 2 range creeps going to follow through.
Look at the split illusions there done by Dream too, putting 2 illusions near the wave. Just wondering if he was going to go for the deny. Won't be able to get it. Mind control. Up to level 5. Not bad for the Mars when he's been kind of left on an island.
Yeah. He's getting something there. And Storm Spirit is starting to play the fog, as we've seen from Storm, you know, kind of farming small camp, medium camp, get himself back into the lane to stop the catapult wave from Morphling from hitting his tower too much.
That's playing very nice.
That's a nice vortex. Oh!
He misclicked.
Miracle!
He was trying to shift down stick and shift back up, but did not do the math.
Well, you said the aggression from Lorinoff, right? That vortex play back under that tower onto Miracle. Beautifully done by the Storm.
Oh boy, that's a big slip up. They can't have these mistakes this game.
He's top CS, he gets a kill on his counterpart, a solo kill. He's got a ton of gold, like rushing towards that Orchid. He's going to have it real fast. And now he's able to cut wave mid, farm up a camp, and accelerate even faster.
This is problems for sure for Nigma. Falling behind with this type of lineup is going to be very tough for them to recover and get they're countered in most of the actual matchups. It's going to be very reliant on mind control, getting some dream combos. So at least he's having a decent start. Net worth not so much, but his levels, right? Almost level 7 on the Mars, so he's going to be the big one to now bring them out of this very rough start for them.
Yeah, get them out of the rut.
GH. He's also potentially got some vision here. Lorinoff, his stick charges, he's going to be able to surpass it.
Yeah, he's fine. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in the second game up against Vici, it was very much down to mind control with those big arenas, setting up the ice blast, the combos that shot GH. He's in the wrong neck of the woods. Radiant Triangle. He scouts an ancient camp, but he's going to get caught up by immersion and afterlife here. He's tried to deny himself to the ancients. Not successful though. Nyx Assassin will take him out.
And Nyx is usually a hero that takes some time, right? Like your laning start isn't really the most amazing, but as the levels get online, this hero becomes one of the strongest supports in the game, and he's already having a great time. He's level 3, he's got Tranquils, Raindrop, Windlace. He's going to be super active around see? And mind control.
Yeah, he's okay. Well, I don't know. He's alive. I don't know if he's okay. He's having some struggles now.
They've already got Medallion on the Snapfire. Plus the minus armor from Riptide. This is a very tough lane for the Mars now at this point. Even if though he has this chainmail, the minus armor is very effective as they will get the catch.
Yeah, they will find that Snapfire. Pretty tanky hero, but still going to get blown through. Mind control GH also take down the courier with a blade of alacrity on it. So
that's
Drees losing out a bit of his tempo. Storm Spirit trying to get a bit of revenge here. Good attempt on the shards by GH, but Storm always able to close the gap back onto him. Well, that's the first kill for Nigma though. Yeah, up on the board, a bit of a morale boost at least for them.
Radiant's middle tower.
Courier's a nice thing too. It's going to slow down that speed because the Naga Siren was getting pretty out of control. Yasha was on the horizon too. Top.
LTW rages away. Immersion, thinking about that impale, but holds it, knowing he's not going to get any real follow through.
Other thing about the Nyx in these type of matchups as well is Nyx, as we said, slow to start, but especially versus a hero like Lifestealer. Always Lifestealer's been like the king versus Nyx Assassin. You don't care about anything he does. You rage and just hit him, but yeah, Immersion having a very good start here. 2-0-1, sapping experience.
Especially if you're the one making the first move, right? If you're on the back foot against Lifestealer, you're having a rough time. You're making that first move against AA, against Morphling. This Nyx Assassin, once he hits level 6 especially, could find some pretty nifty openings onto some of these squishier targets.
This could be a good move here from GH. If he's able to get on Afterlife, he's got the shards.
And he's trying for it up top. Afterlife, the Viper dropping, 3 heroes around him, and 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, they get that tri-lane move onto the Viper at long last.
Radiant's
They
middle
do
tower is under
grab the
attack.
hate strip for Lauren up top. As Nyx Assassin is TP down towards bottom. Miracle's going to force a ball lightning back into that creep wave. Not really a bother there for the Storm though, as it looks like they want to set up for mind control.
Look at how fast that was. Immediately hides himself up on the base and instantly points bottom for a kill. No,
Straight down there. Now they got the chainstorms onto him. And he's a Spinner's Arena. Mind control still going to spear up the Storm Spirit. Any backup? Nigma, where's the team? Mind control wrapped down here against 4 heroes.
Radiant's
Got the
middle tower
chance.
is
I knew
under
Lorinoff
attack.
was aggressive, but my god,
Radiant
instantly makes the
structures
rotation
are
with the haste
fortified.
drone. Miracle is capitalizing off of it though, hitting the tower. GH also playing in the area in case anybody comes up. So Afterlife, he actually has to just let this one drop.
Radiant's
So,
middle tower
you know, the
has
move is
fallen.
good to at least punish mind control, but at the same time, they lose an
bottom
early
tower
mid-tower
is
versus a
under
Morphling.
Yeah, 10 minutes in there, that catapult wave. And they did swing 3 heroes back towards mid, thinking about trying to start a fight, but that leaves Immersion down on the low ground against the Morphling Tusk. Cookie to disengage. Waveform forward though, Miracle, he's hunting for a little bit more there. Lorinoff's low, the
Radiant's
snowball
middle
towards the
tower
Snapfire
is
will
under
drag
attack.
Miracle in towards that target instead. So they give up on the Nyx. Get the snap.
Great moves from GH. Sitting around mid, just literally being patient, waiting for somebody to show up there. And he knows that he is the kill hero with this team. They're going to give Kuroki the lane. Level 6, we see the AA blast. It's already going to the base. Is Lorinoff going to get killed by it? No, he'll be okay.
He'll be fine.
Good attempt.
He'll delay his move out of the fountain a little bit. I mean, net worth-wise, looking like Morphling up at the top, Naga not too far behind. They've got a pretty tight grouping of heroes there. I think the surprising one for me is Lifesteal has managed to recover pretty tremendously out of that top lane.
And he is just rushing Maelstrom. He's not even going to go for Armlet, so he's going to try to counteract the Naga Siren. KuroKy.
Yeah, that's Immersion's level 6, right? Finds the AA. He's got all charges on him. Kuro, he's got the invest save. RW races across with the base boots and the turnaround from GH. Good carapace, but next assassin, he's done for up there.
Nice team play coming out. They tip Kuro. They're baiting them in.
Making the calls. I'm baiting TP top. We'll turn this.
Help!
Radiant structures are fortified.
It does mean now, there's a kind of natural movement for the Naga Siren. Ditch bot lane, move up to top for the tier 1. Claim some objectives as Gambit. Are Nigma ready to fight this? Are they going to bring the Mars top to start a battle here?
He can. There is a TP coming out from Viper down bottom already with the Storm too. My control might get caught off guard from this one here.
Oh, he's not expecting it.
No.
Dream gets the tower top, the zipping on the bottom lane is that Mars being caught out. He thought he could do a bit more damage to that tower, but with that Nether Toxin and Storm's damage is substantial.
It's such quick movements coming out
Straight
from them.
smoke.
This instant smoke. I love the what is man? Gambit is on fire right now with the way that they're making these early aggressive moves, really recognizing the style that they want to play with this early advantage that they have on the Storm, just making Lornoff get very involved and just letting Dream do his own thing, right? Just let this Naga play his own game.
Yeah, it feels like wherever Immersion is, there's action. Feels like the next assassin's the one making the go calls. Follow me, let's smoke, let's make these moves. Dream is left alone top though. Nigma snap into action onto him, and RTW out with a killing spree.
Good move from Nigma. And now the smoke from Gambit is just going to be wasted. Immersion's going to be able to scout out some information. Oh, Miracle.
Oh.
He's shifting down.
Can he get it? And what's Miracle at? 560. He's got a Fairy Fire. I don't know, man.
Oh, he's being safe. He knows.
Yeah.
They're waiting for the zip too. They see the Storm walking over.
You've got the Storm and the zip in. They've caught Miracle. Beautiful. Absolute perfection in from Gambit and Storm. He's going to pull himself away, so not even a chance to catch with a snowball or an arena.
Can they get Immersion though for it, perhaps?
I'll try. He's got Carapace and the arena there with a spear, but he's got the kisses. The counter from Gambit. Blowing the tusk, no control. He's going to back himself up that ramp, get to the safety of the staircase. But you need these arenas to be really landing and getting you kills right, because Microsoft's the main guy.
How much did he actually end up absorbing there? He absorbed the spear, he absorbed damage from the punch. Just the Carapace alone absorbed pretty much everything there. If he didn't get it off at that exact moment, he's dead. They would at least get a return kill, but yeah, great Carapace from Immersion. Yeah, this is
a beautiful Nyx game.
Beautiful Nyx game for sure. And ILTW, as we said, he's recovered, but every single one of these Arena Bloods that don't connect, that's kind of just going to slow down the pace completely from Nigma. They need to have these successful, because if you look at the side of Gambit, they're not nearly as cooldown reliant.
That's a minute you're letting Naga farm, basically.
Yeah. But they got the Naga. That is the important thing.
Yeah.
Dream did get picked up before all that started, which was a very big one that Nigma did need.
Is under attack.
Now another tower.
Yeah, Morphling down to bottom.
Radiant's bottom
He's got
tower has fallen.
Got himself that ultimate orb. Just a recipe away from Manta now.
Exactly. Lornoff already has his Orchid, so this is the timing here for Gambit to keep looking for plays, keep looking for any type of aggression. Nigma knows this. Look how they're sitting behind. GH and KuroKy at the ready to protect Miracle.
Very, very defensive. Patiently wait behind your carry.
Yep.
And here comes Immersion
middle
again.
tower
Another
is
go
under
call.
attack.
Follow me. I will lead you to kills and action. And he'll try and scout them out. He'll see GH. Do they have any sentries? Do they reveal
Far right.
Yes, further off to that side, so they go on the Morphling straight away. Pretty tanky and a great snowball. Turn around onto the Storm, blow him up.
Ooh.
The streak taken down. And Gambit not bringing the numbers this time. Immersion might not even get cut apart here as the Mars angling towards him. And Immersion's out.
Just instant reaction from GH. If they maybe had stunned from the opener, I think Immersion, he wanted to get that little bit of extra damage. If they just stunned, perhaps they actually can get the follow-up for the kill, but yeah, just too quick there from GH. And now Manta's done. So that was your big move to make with the Orchid.
That was the window.
Can react, yep. And KuroKy being sneaky, getting deep wards down to see and be able to predict and, prepare yourself for these Orchid movements, having the Tusk in particular sitting behind that Morphling. They'll see these moves coming now.
Yeah, I mean, it very has much been smoke after smoke from Gambit, so if you can spot one of those out, vision and intel, important for Nigma here, as they do ready themselves around that bottom rune spot. Afterlife with boots of travel.
Yeah. Viper, super immobile hero. So you always want to be able to join to these fights as you know they start getting kind of split up.
Back onto the next there, right? So squish this bug and get the pest out of the game. But here comes the Storm, looking for the ancient apparition. He's got heals, he's got saves and a life stealer. Kuro, he's barely dying, but it's taking Storm everything he's got to find the kill as BZZ. Taken out by RTW. And Nigma on the retreat now, with a little ball links onto the Tusk. GH under that damage from the Riptide, another Toxin.
Radiant are scanning.
2 for 2, all things said and done. I mean, all the support's dead and all the cores running back to farm.
Man, I love active Dota. My controller with the farm during the meantime, he's got his blink. It was spotted though. I believe that this courier actually did see the, this ward saw the courier coming out with it, so they should be aware that he does have blink dagger for the next ones, but some good aggressive moves from Nigma. Being able to punch back with this Manta style Morphling. They're getting the Lifestealer completely back in the game, as you were mentioning earlier. Had a tough start, but he's 4-1. His Infest saves have been pretty top-notch so far.
Yeah, onto Kuroki every time as well, right? Because they're jumping the AA, you know that's your squishy target, the food for the Storm and the Nyx. So if RTW is ready and waiting for it, get straight into the Ancient Apparition. And BZZ, he's got a lot of work cut out for him as the position 5 this game against Kuro, and he's got a lot of dewarding to do. He's got to try and figure out what Nigma are up to.
Sneaky wards too, as we mentioned earlier. The one that you put deep past that tower, that's one that almost never gets dewarded, and the Sentry, it's not going to catch it, the one that they placed down there, so.
Oh, hello! They find the next assassin over a Sentry ward. Try to blow him up, and that's Morphling finding yet another kill.
Kuro during the DPC, I think one of the things that we did critique a lot of the times was the vision. They'd be actually quite lackluster on vision. This game so far that I've seen, he's been really top notch with them. Sneaky wards, sneaky sentries too, being placed down to be able to watch these Nyx's movements.
And it's all in the, like you say, the places that they need to be moving towards, or where they know the Gambit are going to be coming from. And what's the next goal really here for Nigma? You know, we're thinking about Roshan, or is it going to be aiming towards that Radiant Triangle area? Nagasaren, you're hunting for her?
I think you can still just hunt whoever you see on the map if they're not playing that force game where we were talking about with like what the panel was saying too, where you shouldn't really see heroes on the map so much from Gambit if that's the style that they want to go for. So if Nigma sees anybody, I think they can just go for it. If they have the lanes in a good position, they can look for any type of fights with this big Mars AA combo. And that vision that they still have, they know exactly where all of Gambit is right now. They know that there's 3 or 4 heroes positioned around here. Immersion, he's going to sneak through Vendetta.
Maybe reveal.
Maybe this can get something done.
And sees GH. Immersion. And we're going to start on mind control here. He's thinking about it.
Dire's top tower.
Animation cancelling the stun.
Radiant
Miracle under a sentry ward as well. Invis Morphling. Mind control started off onto BZZ. And they just blow the snapfire. Grandma's gone. Miraculous walks straight back out. Nigma, the speed at which they jump in, find that pick. But the question is going to be your next objective. What do they get from it?
Middle tower has fallen.
Is that another kill?
They're just camping.
They want to get another kill from it. Yeah. Save beautifully done by the Tusk yet again to get mind control away from the Viper. Infest is going to allow him to stick around the bottom lane for the tier 2. I mean, Dream did get a tower mid and he's pushing out multiple waves, but Nigma, that tight 5-man unit looking really strong.
11-11. They've completely evened it out. Gambit not really knowing how to slow it down at all. They're going for the Kaya here onto the Storm Spirit next, but very squishy, very vulnerable now on all 3 cores. They can't actually show their face versus anything of Nigma unless they get the initiation cleanly from this Nyx assassin who's just, it's not happening.
Let's stay in bottom. Dream, he's songing.
Ooh, let's see if he can catch him.
He's setting up for it. 2 heroes caught up in it. What's the follow-through going to be? The cookie, the stun, the Nyx assassin gets spit back and start catching them. That control is that ice blast, clips on the Dream, but Ancient Apparition.
Nicely done from Dream.
That's a statement of intent by Gambit, right? 5 heroes, song set up. We're coming to clear you out of our jungle.
They got the D-ward as well, too, which was important. That one ward was being pretty frustrating for them, and they're going to be able to claim their outpost back, which very important at this point in the game. So early that they would have lost it. Lornov definitely needs a BKB next item. I think this is going to be most appropriate. And I'm actually thinking maybe for Afterlife he might have wanted one too, but he's actually committed Atos. So he was going for the pipe build after bots, but going for Atos makes sense. You know, your versus like this Morph and Tusk, and even versus Mars can be pretty effective.
Keep them in that nether toxin.
Yep.
Maybe a nice little setup for the stun.
I think that's the other thing too. They are lacking a little bit of catch in some situations where it can't just be immersion, because they'll walk in under a sentry and just die, and then they're missing a hero. So I do like to at least have a secondary form, but definitely needs a BKB soon to be able to counteract versus the big Mars ult.
Oh, Miracle is Nagasaren now.
Yep, and they have a DD.
Oh, do they?
They do.
Into the roast pit we go. Wondering what our next objective would be for Nigma. 21 minutes in,
It
the
dies
big man.
so fast with the tag team with the Riptide too. It's gone.
It's dead.
They can't do anything about it.
Not a chance of Radiant scan, but missed out on the rush drafting there.
Oh,
The big reach. So yeah, he just grabbed up by Miracle and they're jumping it the high ground towards the triangle. There's the punch from GH. Kiss is going to land in onto MC, but LTW has the rage. Gets straight through the lava. Clears through the Nyx. And Miracle going to stand his ground and battle the illusions.
And he's about to have E-Blade. So now your supports who have been already proving to be pretty squishy, even more so versus this. And it's going to be tough for you to actually target and burst anybody, because that's not really what their draft does anymore. The Kisses, since it's a 5-position snap, it's only level 1. Their burst damage is quite lackluster now on the side of Gambit. Nigma, they'll kill anybody they go on every single time with this AA, with this combo.
So do you reckon the Naga Sirens, the insurance plan, is it going to come to fruition here? Do they have enough time?
Oh, it's definitely looking a bit scary. The Morphling not being able to always turn into her as well, too, is problematic.
Oh, Lorenoff reckons he's so strong. See what he gets up to. Stormseer is back in Fountain, gonna have to try and regroup there with a snap, and the Nyx Assassin probably wanting to smoke across the map.
He's gonna need a pretty explosive BKB timing. Like once he gets BKB, he needs to get like 2 to 3 kills plus, and they need to get some massive map advantage because they're really starting to fall behind right now.
Dream getting away from the spear. Arena from Mind Control holding Naga inside. The Ice Blast, it comes through and clips the Naga, but in comes Nyx Assassin. Life Stealer there, munching away, and our Dream's gone. Nigma holding onto their own triangle while the rest of Gambit nowhere to be seen.
Dream's only died twice this game, but both deaths are so impactful. The positions that he's gotten caught off in from Nigma, he's nowhere near his team. They can't help him at all. So he's just dead to these type of aggressive plays, and it's a lot of time off the map for this Naga.
And GH just keeps on chasing Immersion here. Already spent the carapace, so that means Miracle is opened up for an adaptive strike. Oh, Immersion, he's popped his wand, trying to get into the fog and run away. GH gonna think twice about going any deeper.
I'm so strong, guys, I'm so strong.
Does have that blink dagger though.
And do we have the Mjolnir? Looks like LTW is going the full counter build versus the Naga Siren, so really does feel that Nigma is in perfectly fine condition here. Only less than 1k gold behind, but that doesn't matter at all with the way that they've itemized, the way that they've played now too. This Morphling is by far the strongest here on the map. And yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure now on Lorenoff.
Yeah, what, 3 minutes? Over 3 minutes remaining on the Aegis of Morphling. That's going to be tier 2 mid, maybe even the entirety of the top lane. And this smoke, if they get a couple of kills, the net really closes in around Gambit and shuts them out of the map, because they've been playing wide open map, and now it's going to get real tight here as GH will start the jump onto Viper with the spear. But Viper didn't stand a chance in his own high ground triangle as Emergent trapped in a shot. Got the dust, the reveal comes to secure the Nyx Assassin. Miracle, like you said, in that Naga form with these illusions, shredding through people so quickly.
Oh boy. They are unable to really make any type of initiating moves themselves at all now. Nigma having the double blink daggers, as we saw GH picking it up quite some moments ago when they catch the Naga down bottom. Now they get Mind Control at least. Okay.
Do get the Mars, but that leaves Lorenoff needing to use the BKB defensively, and he's spent all his power. Can't even TP, it's on cooldown. BCC is going to be the target now. They go towards LTW, Kuroki. Doesn't have any stun.
He's still getting chased.
The Storm, Miracle finishes him off, and Storm's first BKB seemed worthless. Dead for a minute now as well, and you've still got his Aegis for 2 minutes on Miracle. So what's that, tier 2 mid? Control triangle, think about the rest of the map for yourself.
Definitely control the triangle. Just sit on this high ground here now there's, man, it really just feels like there's nothing that poor Gambit can do anymore. They got these good timings early, but then nothing started to happen. Nigma just catching a couple kills off guard. Catching the Naga Siren once or twice has been pretty massive for them, and it's just easier for them to initiate. Immersion, how many times now have we seen him just like vendetta running around? He can't actually go on anybody.
He gets dusted, sentry, and he dies. Right, so, something the panel's brought up a couple of times is that ease of execution. Nigma, like we said, game 2 against Vici Gaming, pretty similar draft they had there, so they've already warmed up and practiced with this kind of lineup team fighting, whereas Gambit is much more nuanced how they want to. You're explaining the kind of wave pushing and splitting out the map.
It hasn't been able to happen. Nigma's just grouping up, always expecting the movements first, so they're catching these heroes when they're trying to do that sneaky wave clear, as Dream's career also gets taken out here.
Nothing on it, fortunately.
Yeah. They actually do have the song here to try to catch this.
Any vision? He can't see anyone until he walks straight on top of the AA He'll try and jump the Kuro AA, but the snowball saves. As RTW gets back onto Dream. using another strike onto the life steal, but he's going to invest back in the Morphling. Aegis still in hands for about 45 seconds, so Morph wouldn't mind dying here, honestly. And that's it. Gambit have nothing left in the tank. They've spent everything. They get no kills, and Nigma just going to full hard reset and go again.
I can't believe they don't even get Kuroki. Again, just the double bailouts. I think the Infest plus the snowballs time and time again. Nigma on point with these saves. And they don't have a good combo. That's the next point I actually was going to get to is sometimes we see these Naga Sirens able to work so well because you have some like black hole, something like an egg on top or something like that. They have nothing. Their combo is pretty much just Nyx Assassin runs in and tries to stun.
And then Kisses on top, it's very,
Radiant's top tower
very delicate way they want to start these fights.
And it really feels that they have 2 5 positions now at this point because of how slow Immersion's game has gotten. They have a level 11 Snapfire, level 11 Nyx Assassin who can't really contribute too much big into the team fights in comparison.
And you were very clear when you talked about that Storm's BKB timing. Oh, hang on a second, Immersion's running forward again. They are desperately trying to start the fight wherever they can, but MC, BKB Spear, back on the Nyx, and comes the Ice Blast combo. Immersion, Carapace and Cookie getting a bit of distance away from Nigma. A turn around from Gambit, maybe here onto Miracle, ball running in, the arena comes, but Miracle's BKB on himself, turns to the Naga, they lose the Mars. Nyx buys back as well, but there's more fun. He's shredding him. There's not much Gambit can do against it. It's a good stun for Immersion, but the rest of them on the run. Dream has been left isolated yet again.
That is actually so crazy. So he's doing he turns into the illusions and then shifts into morph form so that they're ranged illusions. So he has these ranged morphlings. He has 4 morphlings in the fight.
Monster onto the snap as well. He's gone. 3 heroes dead without buyback, and Nigma have taken an absolute stranglehold on this game now.
Did they even get did they get at least 1 kill?
They got the Mars.
They got the Mars, but that's these BKBs just to get these 1 kills. This poor Storm Spirit can't actually get onto too many saves. It really is too many different defensive aspects on the side of Nigma that they're using beautifully. They really are. These Infest, these snowballs have been on point. And now it's like you go for this aggressive move with the Nyx, and you're like, oh my god, wait, they both have BKB. The Morphling and the Mars have BKB, and it's a built-in rage on Lifestealer, so you can't do much of anything.
So we have to do something, but what can we do? We're limited on options right now.
I mean, Morphling versus Nagasar, now it's just looking very Morph favored. If I ever see this matchup again, I'm probably just going to immediately side with the Morph too. You just turn into the Nagasar and you have 4 Morphlings, and then you Manta, and then you have like 7 Morphlings.
So many Morphlings.
Well, 6, whatever, but still, it's a lot of Morphlings.
That's a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Now they've just continued to control this triangle during all this time too.
And I like what Mind Control's doing, right? Pushing out bot lane, making sure that Dream doesn't have easy access to like tier 2 mid or bottom lane, no way to get out and cut the waves.
Gambit's not being allowed to play the draft the way they want to at all anymore. Now the map is completely closed on them, where they want to be the ones actually in this position where they're the ones forcing the waves out without showing anything. It's actually just Nigma doing that themselves now.
It's like the worst place for Naga to be is in her own base, pushing out waves with illusions.
Look at these Morphling illusions. Look at them go. Top wave. All right, 3 Morphlings, gonna clear that one out in no time.
Look at the damage they do.
Yeah, it's actually pretty insane.
Is that like, I don't know, I'm thinking like, is it worth buying Diffusal Blade on Morphling when you're up against the Naga side like this? Get even more damage out.
He doesn't need it.
No point in deviating from what works.
Yeah. Dream is getting out to the other side of the map, getting close to getting another item perhaps eventually, but it really feels like this, like the Viper in particular, Afterlife, his game has been just disappeared. He's been where he's been, right? Like, where's the Viper been? After laning phase, he had this excellent game, but he's just a boss. He's a pipe, he's an Atos, but he's 3-2-3. He's part of 6 out of the 15 kills in the map.
It feels like it comes back to that kind of 13 to 16, 17 minute window where the Nyx and the Storm are grouping up as a pair, and everyone else, again, you're playing wide open map, giving themselves up as targets for Nigma. Maybe if they'd gone as 4 or tried to group up a little bit more and left just the Naga alone, they could have got a bit more out of the map as Dream. Oh, does have a bit of backup here from Master. Nyx Assassin can help out, but the Arena Spear
Double kill.
Dead to Miracle with a double kill on the Morphling.
GH, as we said, one to watch this game. 19 of their kills are because of him so far. Yeah, he is 19 out of 23 kills. His Blink Dagger came super early too, and he literally has been reading the map perfectly so far this game. This time, on point level 17, same level as his off-lane Mars. Yeah,
he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Up in the faces of Gambit, and again we make this move as Nigma, right? Straight down the mid lane, look for the tier 3.
And Miracle, he's got illusions, he's got mantas. Once the Naga comes up, he's gonna have more illusions. This game has gotten to the impossible realms now.
Oh jeez. Yeah. Tier 3 barracks have ceased to exist, disappearing under that structural damage from Nigma up towards the top tier 3 as well. And Gambit, well, they need to pull something out of their hat here. Something drastic has to happen to stop the onslaught, stop the bleeding. Kisses will delay this inevitable attack, so to kill the illusions, you're right, Fog. They got him.
They got the illusions, but the Rax... Oh, it actually survives. 80 HP, okay.
Dire's bottom tower
That
is
feels
under
bad.
attack.
Kisses to kill some illusions.
And Roshan's alive, so it's kind of perfect timing for Nigma here. And I mean, is this a move that Gambit want to make towards Roshan? Can they make it fast enough?
I mean, they're just gonna have to
Roshan's
try.
already dead.
Oh no.
They're moving across. There's
He's already in position.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to get straight on top of them. Gambit is throwing those two. He comes mind control with his rear rebuke. Spear trying to aim onto the Viper. GH is silenced and netted those, so Tusk will fall. But Aegis already gathered up by Miracle. And a song used defensively here will Rage and beam straight towards the Siren. Force out the Manta. Any kind of illusions to play around with. But Dream's going to get chased down here. E-Blade, spear misses. Gets off a nice cookie as well. BZZ buys the space as Dream, he does escape, but the cost is dear. And Kuroki's found BZZ.
He's trying to drag... He's trying to get to the wave. He wants to kill before they can actually push. Oh, he cookies
Dire's
backwards.
top tower
He's
is
trying
under
to kill
attack.
Kuroki. No! Saved by the spear. In comes the cavalry from Nigma.
He tried. It was a good effort.
Good idea, good plan.
Dire's top
Not working
tower
out
is
for
under
him though.
attack.
Again, every time it's just they're getting jumped on. GH does eventually die this time, but
Oh, the
he
ball.
did his job. He gave all the information for his team to get the perfect jumps onto the heroes, and now into the base to finish off that
Radiant's
Rax. That was 80
top barracks are
HP.
under
Now there's an
attack.
AC as well on ILTW, and of course
Radiant's
we didn't
top
mention because it's been
barracks
getting
has
kind of quick, but he gets one of the better items versus Naga too. Call the flames on the
Radiant's
dealer, so it's
middle
great.
tower
They
is
can just
under
end this
attack.
game. They're unlikely though.
They're on tier
Radiant
4s, yeah.
structures are fortified.
A glyph out from Gambit. Try and get the Snapfire alive, and she'll have kisses when she respawns. It's just a struggle to see what exactly Gambit can do to start a fight, extend a fight to the point at which they can get more than just one kill.
Radiant's middle tower
Because
has
Nigma
been denied.
have so much.
Radiant's middle
doing
tower
ending it.
is under attack. Radiant's middle tower
With a try,
is fortified.
Miracle has done his work. He kills the point. There's no lead to save it up. That game's over. Nigma take game one against Gambit. I mean, it's a good draft from Gambit, good attempts, but Nigma with a momentum from that victory against Vici Gaming really showing this Mars AA in particular.
Yeah, the Mars AA and just the way that the Morph and the Tusk actually controlled the game was pretty beautiful. The read of